it can never remain platonic. Like, there has never been a time.
Just got it like that.
I'm not saying that.
I told y'all she's me.
I'm not.
What up, man? It's your boy Canton Jones. You're listening to Trackstarz live, because we Trackstarz. We keep on track with Jesus Christ all day, every day.
Yeah, back in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, SEANTANA, DJ Jeremiah. What's good?
All right, this episode is sponsored by True Strength Apparel. Make sure you get over to TrueStrengthApparel.com. Check out the latest gear from the homie Aaron Simpkins. I should point out also that we have Jason Bordeaux in the building from Business with Bordeaux podcast.
Amen.
And his shirt is also sponsored by True Strength Apparel. So
Yes, it
it's
is.
dope, man. We want to make sure we recognize the Simpkins, man, and everything that they're doing to support this brand. And I also want to give a special shout out to another one of our Trackstarz Universe members, listeners, and someone who just gives a great deal of support to Trackstarz. Shout out to Mrs. Korth. Just noticed that she donated to Trackstarz today.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Ashley Korth's mom. If you guys don't know, Ashley Korth is our content director for our website, Trackstarz.com. She's over all the writers on the team, including Jason Bordeaux, including Mitchell back here in the back. So we are just super excited about all the things that the Korths are doing for this brand. So thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Miss Melanie. We really appreciate what you guys are doing. Also sponsored by Rap Reel, March 26th, right? And so Tori Deshawn is going to be in the building. King is going to be in the building. And we're excited about that. So make sure you make your way down to Atlanta for Rap Reel.
All right. You gonna say something?
No.
Okay. Whenever you do this, I'm like, all right. Real quick before we get into the noteworthy, we called the guy who's on death row, right?
Oh yeah, we sure did.
And we talked. It was a couple weeks ago. I wasn't here last week though, but we talked to him, and he kind of talked to us, told us his story, what he was interested in. So he wanted to tell all you guys thank you for praying for him, all the well wishes. We did find out some news.
Yep.
We did find out that his death sentence got overturned.
Yes.
Wow.
So
Yes.
now
his death
he's
row
not.
sentence is overturned.
Now he's not on the hook for the death penalty, but he is still in there for life.
Yeah.
But even that has a possibility of getting overturned. So we did hear his story. We're not going to tell you today. Look
Yeah.
forward to that in the future. We asked him for his permission to tell it, so he said, "Yeah, but I want to make that a separate thing." But his story is powerful, and we definitely want to let you know more about him because he is still working on this album from jail. So, but the good news is he's not set to die anymore.
Yeah.
So that's huge. That's huge. So keep praying for him. We're gonna try and get him recorded so he could actually talk directly to you guys and thank you guys directly. But just keep praying for him. He has a court dates coming up and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right. What you
Yeah.
got?
That's awesome. Okay, so for today's noteworthy, hi Trackstarz. I love all of your topics, especially those that help answer some real questions that I often think to myself. I specifically am curious about the relationship topics. As I'm sure many singles are, I'm a 27-year-old single woman who's had clear instruction from God not to date, and if I wanted to question it, he gave me some pretty heavy confirmations afterward. I've seen plenty of videos, some about people who said they did not date until they literally met their spouse, and some who are still not dating. I believe God wants me to take some time to let him work on me, and I second that because I do have some issues to work through. Do you think it's wise for me to have male friends or talk with men that I may consider allowing to court me, or should I just steer clear of men altogether until I feel led to open up to someone specifically? I fear not ever meeting someone because I'm completely guarded when it comes to men, so I can avoid having to shut men down in a nice way. But I want to walk in obedience. What are your thoughts? P.S. By dating, I mean going out, getting to know each other, etc. Hence my confusion because I don't really get the difference between dating and courting.
That's good.
Ooh, I got something to say on that one.
What you got?
Well, first of all, congratulations to you for being just willing to submit to whatever you believe God has for you in the area of relationships. It is hard to commit to not dating, and to focus on working on you until you feel like God releases you. So definitely kudos for that.
Yeah.
But I will say this: it is very healthy and normal to have male friends. Like, you need to have male friends. However, what I would suggest is that you focus on having friends in a group setting, male friends in a group setting. So if you're going out, sure, a group of you guys go out, grab a bite to eat, go to a movie or whatever. But I would try to make sure that is in a group setting until you feel led to hone in on one person. And of course, that doesn't mean like, yes, this is my person, this person is my husband. But I would say until you feel like God has released you to start dating, because that in fact is dating, whether you believe it or not. And so I would focus in on the group setting, because I think it's healthy, and you should have male friends. You should have interactions with men. So that's what I was going to say.
What you think?
Yes.
Not everybody at once.
Yes.
I mean, I thought y'all would have a lot to say about this, being Mr. Drought and Mr. Inspector.
I know. And Inspector, what you got?
What you got?
I mean, for me, I just think that to each his own. I'm a big proponent of that. I saw things differently, just because of my personality. I realize now, so I've been looking into the color personality chart, right? And realizing more about what my color is. My color seems to be more like a yellow, like a cheerleader, like a person who wants to be the life of the party, who enjoys life a lot. And so I really feel like...
So you're more like a cheerleader.
Right. I really feel like a lot of the things that I believe in are based off of the comfort zone that I have, right?
Gotcha.
Being an extrovert, you just don't worry about as much as other people might worry about. So for me, I'm just kind of like, do it. Do it. Don't be fearful of it. Just do it. And I realized that everybody can't be like that.
And I'm generally like that too. Like I get you. You're like, in your world, you don't see a reason to ever fall back from dating. Like, it's not guaranteed you're going to just get a date whenever you think you want one anyway, right? So in your world, you don't really see that. However, in this case, I give her kudos as well, only because she believes she's hearing something from God.
Yeah.
And so she is basically saying, look, this is my directive that I'm being given from God, so I'm going to be obedient to what I'm hearing from God, right? And I'm just kind of fall back. And I also agree with the fact that a healthy relationship or healthy interactions with men, I think those are good, right? I think those are good and necessary. How long should this last, though? You know what I mean? I don't see it in sight.
I'm confused a little bit. She said that God told her not to date.
Yeah.
What does she mean by that? Does she mean at all, period? Like, it sounds like she's saying that God told me not to date. He wants me to court. Is that what she's saying, or is she just saying not to date for a while?
I thought it meant don't date right now because you got to work on your own stuff.
I didn't see
That's
that.
what
I didn't
thought.
see her say that.
She said she's working on. She's got stuff she got to work through. She's got issues she's working through.
Okay, but
I think
it sounded like she was saying, I don't want to date. I want to find the specific person, then date.
I mean, I think that's good too, but I didn't think that was an option right now as it stands. I could be wrong though.
I think she's trying to figure out the difference between dating and courting, because she said she has some confusion on that. I think she's trying to figure out. I think she's also trying to figure out how long this should last herself, because she's saying, like, I've looked up on videos and people have said that they didn't date until they literally met the spouse, or so I think she's trying to figure out, or they just didn't date at all. But I think she's trying to figure out where she goes in that.
Okay,
camp.
so I read the line where she said she's working on some stuff and she needs some time. So okay, so I guess her question is, while she's taking the dating or not is off the table for her. I guess she's asking, while I'm taking time, should I entertain any guy at all? Is that the real question?
Maybe.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
So I guess, because it sounds like to me you're more curious as, would you be being disobedient by still kind of hanging out with guys and if you felt like God told you not to date? Is that dating in and of itself?
Yeah.
What Ryan would call talking. Is it wrong to talk if God told you not to date?
Yeah, that's what she says.
Okay.
I mean, that questions if she has a job. Can she talk to guys? Can she participate in a joke? Can she listen to a joke? Like, I feel like she's putting herself in a very rules-oriented kind of situation. Because, I mean, like, I have coworkers that are ladies. I mean, I'm married. But, like, I might share a joke that I heard or whatever, but they know I'm married. And at the same time, she can kind of let people know, hey, I'm not really looking to...
But when
whatever.
I say talk, I don't mean just talk at all. I mean, the concept of talking is like
Right.
you're kind of dating them, but it's not official.
Yeah.
That zone of dating.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't advise toward that. I've had personal experience with this, and I think, you know, if God is told you, you know, not to date right now, then, you know, you have to be wise on how you see that. And I think praying about it, also having wise counsel, because, you know, there can be a way in which you kind of could go overboard, but there also could be a way in which you are too lax on it. And so I don't think talking is a good situation, because you can kind of get people into this feeling of, or kind of confuse someone's emotions. Yeah. And then you're like, because I had a situation like that happen. And it can be hard sometimes, especially if you have a lot of people around you who are in relationships, but like, just stay true to what God has said to you, because it could be forever. I don't know. But it doesn't have to be forever. So it's just staying in tune to what God is saying to you. And it's not a bad thing if it is. Like, if that's what God has for you, then it's a gift.
Yo, she really fears not ever meeting someone. That's what she said. She fears never meeting someone, because she's gonna have to, in the meantime, in this obedient time, right? Then she's like, okay, if I'm gonna wall myself off from men completely during the obedience period, right? Then when it's time, whenever that time is, she's already really guarded when it comes to men in the first place.
Right.
So when she hops back in, right? Will there be anybody still there? And I think that's kind of what she's thinking. Will
How do you know
I
that?
just missed a whole bunch of opportunities? She said it right here.
Because she's saying, like, well,
She said, I'm completely guarded when it comes to men. So I can avoid having to shut men down in a nice way. Before that, she says, I fear not ever meeting someone because I'm completely guarded when it comes to men.
How much is this God and her versus her stance?
I think it could be God, but I think maybe, at least this is, again, coming from my experience, because I've had time periods where I know God told me, you are not to be dating right now. Like, you need to be focusing on me and what I have for you right now. But I think sometimes, like, you're bent. So, like she said, nicely shutting down. Like, that might be her bent in a way of handling that. But, you know, again, obedience is key. I think you just have to trust God and really believe that he's faithful. And that he's not going to, if you're being obedient to what he's telling you to do, he's not going to put you in a situation to where you're going to be left like, well, God, you know, you just left me here. Like, God is going to give you what you need. So don't be afraid of coming out of the situation and like, oh, there's not going to be anyone. Like, God has someone for you. Like, don't worry.
This goes back to our ongoing conversation of how do you know God is actually talking to you? Because, and I don't want to question her because she said it was confirmed all kinds of ways, but if this is your natural bent, you know what I mean? It sounds like she's saying that this is my thing, you know, like I have a problem with, I'm guarded when it comes to men and naturally.
But just because you're guarded doesn't mean, like, for instance, with me, like, I can be guarded at times, but I have been in situations where I've dated and I have opened myself up. So it doesn't mean that you're not willing to date someone, or you're not looking to, or you're not entertaining it. It just means that you might, in certain situations, be more shut off.
What if the
you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't mean that she's
What if the thing God wants you to work on is your guardedness?
Well, if he's telling her not to date, that's different than work on guardedness.
If you're being guarded and you bring that into a relationship, that could hurt your relationship.
Oh, for sure. But I don't think that if God is telling you not to date, I don't think that's the time for you to, like, go exploring a relationship to break down that guardedness.
No, like, I mean, you're just your natural guardedness around men. Like what Maya was saying, you still should be around guys. Mm-hmm. You don't have to date every guy you're around. Yeah. So maybe you have a natural repellence to guys that you need to work on.
And that's why I was saying it's important to still engage with guys in a group setting, because I know for me, I got the word from God that I was not to date while I was in college. Like, I was to focus on my education and building my relationship with God. But I literally was like Fort Knox. Like, I shut any and everybody down. I didn't look a guy in the eye. It was like, don't look at me, don't talk to me unless you coming to me saying you my husband. But even then, I was like, I don't know what to do with that. So
that's the fear.
By the time, but for me, that's why I'm saying still engage with guys, because by the time I graduated, I just thought, oh, magically he's gonna come out of the blue and say you're the one I've been waiting for, and I had no relationships with men. So that's why I'm saying you need to have friendships. That's key. But I would advise doing it in a group setting, because you want to know how to function and interact with men.
Non-romantic friendship.
Exactly.
But can I say this? This has generally been my stance for the past couple of years, and I've struggled with it recently because, I mean, obviously I'm here, so I'm thankful to be working with you guys. But my experience has been, and this may not be everyone's experience, but primarily with the majority of the guy friends I have had, there's always, it can never remain platonic. Like, there has never been a time.
Just got it like that.
I'm not saying that.
I told y'all she's me.
I'm not, y'all, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying, as a woman, I have noticed a lot of times, seeing other women and
that they
girlfriends of
low-key
mine.
like you, and that's why they're trying to be your friend.
No, exactly. Like, I feel like a lot of guys will do that. So, like, they're like, oh, I see this beautiful girl. I've had friends this has happened to. I see this beautiful girl. I want to be her friend. I'm going to entertain her. So she's just like, oh, yeah, we're just cool. We're chilling. Then he tries to make a move.
But here's the question.
And that has happened
Are we chilling
numerous times.
by ourselves in your car? Are we chilling at the movies? Or are we chilling at dinner with a bunch of people? Now, because here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Good point.
Women, and you're right. You're absolutely right. Women should be aware of when a guy is trying
singling them out.
Exactly. But because of that, we still need to have those boundaries in place. And that's not to be guarded. That's to be wise.
Smart.
Y'all talk
that's
about
to be
this
wise.
like
that's
he
to
is
not
like
be
scheming
naive
on you and doing
or
something to hurt you.
like,
but there are
Hunting,
literally
he's
not
hunting.
even hurt.
My
like,
friend has had this happen to her in the past.
No. It's not about hurting. It's not about hurting. It's like
You
guys,
abused
and I'm not trying to say like,
Can't believe that.
I'm not trying to be rude, but guys a lot of times they have a game plan. Like they have a,
they
do,
but
it's
women,
like,
but
No.
women,
that's not the best way of saying it.
Women
but
have game plans too.
Yeah,
Oh, of course,
I was
of
gonna
course.
say, like,
That's-
you have to exercise
Well-thought-out
wisdom.
game plan.
You have to exercise wisdom. And I will say this: women say one thing, but if they're still thirsty for attention, then they entertain guys when they know they shouldn't entertain
That's
them.
true.
Boom.
That is
you
very
gotta
true.
make sure that
That's
they're
it, Maya.
operating in wisdom
That's
too.
it.
But and I
You know?
think that's because
That's it. That's what happens.
But I think
That's what happens.
I think that's because women are not willing to do exactly what you said. Because in college, I was very much like what you're saying. Like I was not about hanging out one-on-one with guys at all. I was just not about it. It was only in group settings, and my girlfriends would be like, "Oh, you're too extreme. Like you're doing too much. You need to stop." But I was like, I'm not gonna put myself in a situation where I have that happen to me because I know how guys think, and it's just I'm not gonna let it happen.
Holy Spirit.
And then and then the one time that I did slip up, like it did happen. So it's just like I don't think a lot of times people use wisdom even in group setting situations.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Group settings do not mean throw your discernment, your wisdom, all of that out of the window. It means maintain boundaries and make sure like she's working on herself. If you know that's a weak spot for you, if you know that's a blind spot for you, then make sure that you're attentive to that and that you're honing in on that so that you don't allow somebody's advances towards you to turn into, oh, I can't hang out with guys because they always trying to no, you know how to engage.
But I think there is a thing there because if you know you friend zone the world basically for a year or so, and you got just some guy that you feel comfortable with, so you do stuff with him, even in a group setting, that's your road dog, and you know they like, I love you with my whole heart. You know what I mean? Like you're using that dude for attention.
Yep.
And and I just feel like you have to be wise in that because I think sometimes it's easy, especially when you know a guy is like really into you and continually giving you attention. And if you just feel like, oh, I don't have anyone, or a new city or a new place, like it's easy to fall into that. And we're human, but I think the key thing for women and like just people in general, men as well, but like be willing to say you mess up and like make sure you have accountability to change your direction. Like if you mess up, like don't keep leading a guy on. Like I've been there, done that, and it's stupid. So don't do it.
So
guys.
the major difference between dating and courting is
Thank you.
Yes.
Dating is you're just hanging out with people to have fun, no real purpose to it. Just kind of like I need company. I'm tired of being here by myself. That kind of attitude is dating. Courting is I'm ready to be married and I'm looking for my wife. Like this, you could be my wife. I've seen enough in you that you might be. So let's find out. Let me court you. We're courting, like, there's probably some kingly reason for it.
Well, go ahead. I was gonna say I get what you're saying, and I do agree with that to a certain extent. I will say this though, communication is key because I can date someone who is about the business and he's like, I'm looking for a wife, but we may not be in that courtship phase yet. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
right.
I even advise against just dating to have fun. Like you have fun with your friends. Like
exactly.
Because I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah,
like,
because that's dating just to have fun. This is all back to, I keep talking about this book. Nobody reads it.
What?
Boy Meets Girl.
Oh, I read the first one. I read the first one, but
it's just the attitude
I
of
have the second one.
just the attitude of I'm dating because I'm bored. I'm dating because that girl is pretty, but not like I'm dating because I'm ready to be married and this is the person I think could be that person. That's a different attitude.
So what would you tell to somebody that says, how do you meet people then?
See that, and that's what I was gonna say. I think there are levels to dating too, because I think it's the mindset. Because I could go on a date with someone and just be getting to know them, but I don't have to have the mindset of I'm just gonna have fun with you and this is gonna be pointless. Like you said, like, you know, you can meet someone, have a date with them, and it can still be recognizing, like, is this a potential person I can see myself married with, not just going into it just carelessly.
Yeah.
So dating is basically giving the guy the shot.
8 Blocks Away says that dating is the beginning of courting.
Yeah, I think it should
you have
be.
to check
The
first.
invitation to go out is the step one of.
You're
'Cause not
intentionally
everyone's
trying
worthy
to
of
get to
courting.
know that person through dating. I believe you're intentionally trying to get to know that person, and I believe that should actually be communicated if you're really serious about dating this person in an exclusive relationship. Courting is when you're like, I believe you are my wife. We are moving in that direction.
Right.
But I could be getting to know you by dating.
Exactly.
So should she even date? She shouldn't be dating.
Not right now.
And she shouldn't be what? She should be hanging out with guys, but in group settings.
Yeah,
Right? I'm just trying to get her diagnosis
Don't
down.
single anybody out.
Okay, don't single anybody out.
And don't
right?
let them single you out.
Boom.
And don't get caught, right? This is why I call this hunting. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that
That whole, you didn't catch it. That whole setup was just for him to say that. That whole
That's
setup, all those questions. He's getting good. You're good.
he was sitting back and being quiet and gathering all the evidence so he
Yep.
could go ahead
He
and
is
spit it
getting
back out.
good at this.
He's pulling the Sean Grant on us.
Go ahead.
What I was going to say is that the interesting thing is, like, to me, what I noticed from dating is more about getting to know the person's likes, interests, what type of movies do they like, and all that kind of stuff. And you get to see the responses to, you know, like a lady could check out a guy at a football game, see how he responds, stuff like that. And courting is more spiritual, intimate learning about them. So, like, you know, learning kind of the more inner core about them and seeing where they are with God and learning, you know, it's like, okay, is this person right with God at a point where I can see myself being with them? And dating is more so finding out if they're a Christian, how much Bible have they read. You know what I'm saying? It's a little deeper. But, I mean, the way I've always said it, but I kind of changed my mind now, is dating is just saying this is the one person I'm going to do this with until the next person comes along. Because that's what dating was whenever I was in high school. That's how everybody did it. It was like, you know, I'm dating this person for this exclusive reason, but then after that was over, it was like on to the next.
But I remember being
touchy feely.
Yeah, I remember being single, like, and you can say I'm dating. I'm just dating around, right? You could date like 5 different people at one time. You can say I'm dating, right? So wait, people can. I'm
Yeah,
not
you
saying
can.
you
I
can.
don't know if
you
you
say I'm
should.
just dating, right? So if whatever, I get judged a lot here.
No, I'm just laughing. I'm laughing at Sean's face. That's all.
I'm on your side. Solidarity.
Not
Thank you,
saying
brother.
much though.
Yeah.
Not defending him at all. He's out here by himself.
Yeah.
This is
He's
your
not.
thing. This
I'm
is your
here.
topic. I want you to
But
jump in.
that's what you said earlier,
Yeah.
right? You're just dating, right? You're just trying to figure out who can be that one, right? You don't know for sure. So you go on a date, and this is what dating is, right? You go on a date. This doesn't work out, cool. I go on another date.
Yeah.
Then that doesn't work out, cool. You
I'm
go on
gonna
another
blow-
date.
I'm going to blow the whole spot up right now. This is going to
Hit 'em with
be
it.
crazy, right?
Hit them with it.
As a married man, I want to scream to single people not to overthink it, right? I was one of the ones that overthought it. And now that I'm married, I was like, man, I wish I had that time back. Now, it's good. Go in your time. Get your prayer life with God right.
Amen.
Get your walk with God right.
Yup,
Do all
yup.
that good stuff. But don't overthink
I
it.
got you,
right?
Ryan. I got you.
Yeah, thank you.
You
Hit
do.
'em with
I
it.
feel like you need to really be thoughtful about who you sit and spend your time with. Like, if you just careless, like I was gonna just before he said that, I was gonna say, like, don't just be dating the same person multiple times while dating other people. You should not. I don't feel like you should be doing that as a
But
Christian.
you can.
If you keep it open
But
and honest
here's-
with everybody,
and that's
like,
just not. That's
But
being
this-
No, you can
carefree.
say,
If
yo,
you're
hey,
just
look.
dating everybody and you just.
But the same way you hang out with Christian hip hop artists, track stars, and all that kind of stuff, you can use that same
Ooh.
discretion and
Ooh.
when you're out with anybody else.
But dating is different than hanging out
Not
with
necessarily.
a group. Like
Not
what we were
necessarily.
talking about with Maya.
Ryan is
Not
mean today.
necessarily. I mean, you're talking about. But see, here's my thing.
No,
like,
I'm not. I'm just saying,
He
like,
tired.
oh.
you're just getting to know people. Like, you're just getting to know people.
But that's not
It
how
can be
people
innocent.
see it. That's what
The
turning,
same
like,
way you did an
that's
interview
what-
with Rapzilla, and you went over there and hang with them, right? You come over here and hang with us. It's all good.
Yeah.
like that's
what he
mixed,
just
that's
said.
giving someone mixed
And then
signals.
shoot up the Wado radio.
That's giving someone mixed
I don't know what
signals.
just happened.
Ryan,
leading- that's
you
leading
are
people
on
on.
1,000, brother. What?
That's leading people on. That's why women
Then go over to
like,
Christian hip hop today.
y'all want
not.
to know why we're so guarded. That's part of the reason right there. Because
but we're not
guys are so
scheming.
carefree and we're just not thinking about our
not-
decisions.
This is what I would
We're not
prefer.
scheming. We're just being ourselves.
I understand their point of view on this, but I would prefer, if I had a daughter, I had a friend, that the person that approached them considered, is this person my wife or not? Am I ready for this or not? And then they approached and they actually had good
Yeah,
intentions
be
for my
thoughtful.
daughter.
I think
That's what I would want.
I think
I
what-
wouldn't want just somebody just out there living it up.
I think what everybody's saying is that because one side is saying find that one and stick with that one and cultivate something with that one, and then these guys are saying that you need to go out and search because you don't know if that one is really the one.
Well, then leave me alone.
That's what it sounds like, right?
I mean, it's probably somewhere in the middle of that.
Yeah.
There is probably some overthinking happening for the people that are being thoughtful, but they're being thoughtful because they love God. Like, there's a reason for the thoughtfulness.
Or what if they don't
right?
want to get hurt?
I did that too.
It could be that. But what I'm
But
saying
that's
is
not bad.
there's caution on both sides of it.
Yeah.
Be cautious, be thoughtful, but don't legalize it. Don't make it into like this big ordeal.
But what he's saying is a lot of young ladies or people that are like that is like they're overthinking it, and it's like, I know you don't want to get hurt, which is cool. Like, I understand that. But at the same time, it's like you're maybe single not because of God, because of you.
Amen. Amen.
Well, what I'm talking about doesn't
No.
it doesn't disqualify a gender. Guys overthink it too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's not. You may be single as a single because of you, because you're overthinking certain things. Like, I don't know if she like me, or I'm thinking that that's my husband, and I just said hi, or how you doing?
Can I
That's
can I
it.
ask this question? Okay. So is it okay if a guy, right, goes on a date with a female? You go on that date, right? It's a
Male
cool
goes
date.
on a date with a female.
Male goes on a date with a female. It's a cool date, right? It's not the bomb date, but it's a cool date. You know what I mean? So you go on a date, right? And then, she goes by her way, you go by your way, right? And then next day, you meet a new female, right? And then you say, hey, let's go on a date, right? So you go on a date with that female as well, right? You go on a date. It's an all right date. It's not great, you know what I mean? But it's cool. And then, you let her go by her way. Then maybe Wednesday, you call the girl from Monday and you say, hey, you want to go on another date? Is that okay? And then she's like, yeah, let's go on another date. No problem. So you go on another date. Is that okay? Or is this wrong now?
So let me ask you
That's
this.
different. That's different.
That's funny. So let me ask you this.
No, because you understand. You gotta understand the layout of the because he's asking questions that don't sound that bad. The way he's framing it, it don't sound bad. But you could also frame it. You could say the same thing totally
in a different
differently,
way,
and it would sound terrible.
perceive it.
So let's
I
say
just
let's
wanna
say-
know.
So let's
But that
say
was
you,
good. I
so let's say
Even
you're
though
in
his
school.
tone and his inflection in his voice.
You're in school and you have two other friends that y'all really close, and a girl does the exact same thing you just said with all three of y'all. Would y'all feel like something towards her?
Well, see, I don't really have a lot of friends outside of you guys.
I'm talking about when you was in college.
When I was in college, yeah, I also didn't have a lot of friends then. So, it wouldn't. So let's say
principle
frat
of it.
brothers, right? Yeah, okay. So me and my brothers, right? Let's say I go on a date with her on Monday, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Then my frat brother goes on a date with her on Tuesday,
yeah,
and then on Wednesday she wants to go on
It's
another date with
already
me.
gross.
yeah.
Right?
That's already gross.
Does it end in
No.
end in a kiss?
No, this is the situation, right? I told you it was an okay date. Maybe it wasn't a great date. Maybe these dates don't end like bad dates. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So we're just dating. Now, when I say dating, a lot of people go straight to the bedroom. That's not where I went with you guys, right? So that's not what's going on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday.
Right.
Right? But we're going out to a restaurant. Applebee's, right? Anywhere, TGI Fridays, whatever. You know what I mean? So
here's the difference
That's
between
okay.
here's the difference between the philosophies. I think that you can end up both being okay, but
I think so.
the difference is that I never wanted a girl to be that open to any Negro that walked in her path
Yes.
and
Why
said
only
yes.
Negroes?
I mean, you can
to any human.
He's a Negro too.
Any
What I'm
human.
saying is,
No, he is not.
what I'm saying is,
is.
listen, hold on. This is what I mean. If I knew that the girl I was talking to would have said yes to Jimmy and Chris and Pookie and them, I don't want to go out with her.
But it's not about that.
But it is to me. That's what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is like, okay, I have two young girls at home, right? My expectation is that they're going to be raised up in my household, right? They're going to understand what our rules are and what we believe in, and they are going to go out there in the world, and guys will approach them. Can't stop them from approaching them, right? But they will know. They will know based on the way I have told them they should be treated, the way I treat their mother.
Right.
They'll know which ones that they'll
That's
entertain
fine.
and which ones they won't.
What I'm saying, even the holy Christian girl, if she said yes to Jimmy, Chris, Joey, and Bob too, that's not who I want. I want somebody who is trying to find her husband, not like
I'm okay with
all
dating
of those
all
dudes
y'all
were
this
okay.
week.
But
Let's
every
just hang
single
out
one of
every
them
day this
they
week.
qualified, they were good. I don't
How
want
do
to
you
be
get to how do you get to
But
your
I'm not
husband if you
saying
don't
that-
know those?
You
people?
have to use
You
discernment.
could be that way. It's just that I wasn't
No.
going to end up being your
But
husband. That's
how do you
somebody
know
else
that?
could have.
Let's say she went on a date with Jason, right? It didn't go well. Hey, Jason, name was cool, but that's not the case.
I'm just
Then
telling
she
you
sees
what.
Ryan. Hey,
I'm
Ryan,
just,
what's up? Let's
I'm
go
not
on a
saying
date.
that's bad. I'm just saying that's not what I was looking for. I wasn't looking for somebody who would say yes to whoever came across their path like that. I didn't want that.
No, she just
But-
said
but-
yes to go.
I don't
I'm
want-
going to give you
I
a
didn't-
chance to go
I'm on
to
the
a
same page
restaurant
with
with
Sean.
I
But what's
wouldn't
the
have wanted her
difference,
to
though?
do
I'm on the
that.
same
What's
page
the
with John.
difference?
The difference
Because
is
I wouldn't have. Honestly, it may be a selfish thing. I wouldn't have
is.
felt special. Well, what's so special
I don't
about
think
me?
that's
Is
selfish.
it-
I think
is-
that's okay.
Could
The
any
special
should-
part is you were the one that she chose to spend the rest of her life.
any
with.
If you got a
any-
second date,
any
that's
sli-
special.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're basically saying any slim dude with waves that love Jesus
No,
cut
no.
could have come and met your wife and married her.
That's
I
not-
would have wanted to be more special.
No,
than
it
that.
doesn't. It doesn't.
That's not
It
the
doesn't.
case.
It's not just
it,
about
it
the
doesn't
waves.
start with just an attraction. It starts with the foundation, the Holy Spirit, discernment, things of that nature. My wife
But-
isn't gonna just choose any skinny dude with
But
waves.
she said yes to a bunch of other ones.
My
that's
wife
what-
didn't.
No, no,
But
no.
I'm saying
No,
in our scenario.
No, the scenario. In the example.
No, even in the scenario, right?
But-
She
but-
said yes to. She said yes to giving you a chance to know you. Okay, cool. I give you a chance to get to know me. Cool. If we go out on a date, it don't work out, right?
Yeah.
To me, it
You learn
doesn't-
personalities.
To me,
You-
what I wanted was somebody who doesn't need to go out on a date to realize somebody isn't for them. You should be able to tell.
Tell that from
Like,
afar.
You could watch somebody
How
for
you
a
gonna
couple.
know?
How do
if-
you tell
How you
that?
gonna know if you,
You
have
don't
no
know that.
interaction?
By
with her?
watching
You've
them.
never
You
been
don't
on
know
a
that.
date with nobody that didn't turn out to be your wife?
Yeah.
I didn't go on dates like that.
Not
there
like
was-
all the time, but I'm just saying you saw somebody like she may look like.
I never asked somebody out like that. I never
Okay.
saw somebody
Okay.
and was like, hey, randomly that I didn't know.
No?
People I went on dates with were people I knew.
You
They
knew
were friends.
already.
Wait.
I knew a little bit. Even my wife, I knew who she was. We
Wait.
talked before.
Do you remember?
Oh God! I set myself up for this. Hold on, let me see who's on.
Let me see who's on.
I'll forget his shit. Let me talk to you real quick.
I'm just.
I don't remember what she's talking about. What?
All right, cool. So,
Uh-oh.
No, you can say it. I don't care. What?
cool. So, do you remember when we were in that phase, right? There was a
Yeah,
phase
yeah.
where it was between. You know,
Yes, yes.
that situation and new situation.
Yes.
And so then we went to Fox Sports Grill,
Yes,
right?
yes.
We're kicking it there. And there was this waitress, right?
Yes.
I
Right?
remember that.
You remember this situation,
Yes.
right? There's a
Yes.
waitress, and the waitress, she was, okay looking lady. So
Yes.
she's walking around waiting on people, right?
Yeah.
And then you,
But don't forget the premise of this.
Wait.
Why was I out
say it again?
with you?
Because
It
you
was
were
us.
out. We were recovering.
They were
Right.
trying to make you.
So that was
recovering.
me
Make a move.
trying out what his
What they
philosophy.
said.
It
You
wasn't
were
like,
And it
recovering.
worked pretty good.
Yeah.
no, it didn't. What are you talking about?
Obviously not well enough.
No, we were in recovery. It was cool. So then,
This was rebound season.
this is just a cool, get yourself back together type of season, right?
Rebound.
All right. So we're out, right? And we just kind
Turning
of
into a long topic.
yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
Lines
we
to
just
lines
kind of
of rap.
we just kind of looking around, and what happened was you saw somebody who you like, right? And then you want to get to know who she was.
But the conversation at the table was, I've never done this before. So this was, man, you got to try it. You got to go do it. Just do it. So it was like okay, let me try it.
You felt
But it
a
wasn't-
peer pressure?
No, it wasn't peer pressure. It was, no, listen, seriously. It wasn't peer pressure. It was, maybe he's right. Maybe I am too tight. Maybe
Oh, I see
I'm,
what
so
you
it was
mean.
like, okay.
So, let me try your
let me
It
see
was
what
two
you say.
extroverts giving some advice.
I mean,
That's what it
we
was.
kicked it though, and that wasn't the only time we went there.
But here's why I'm saying that it's somewhere in the middle, because honestly, the tightness was a detriment to me. If I didn't go through that season, I probably wouldn't even have been brave enough to talk to my wife.
But it also
opened me up enough to be able to do that.
did.
but I don't think going all the way where you guys are going is
But
right
it
either.
also helped me eliminate situations, right? Like we saw some crazy, right? Remember we went out on a group date and we were like, Sean,
yeah, but I
don't let the face fool you.
But I didn't. But I wasn't interested. I know who you're talking about, but I wasn't interested. I could tell just from watching her. I didn't need to go on a date with that person to realize that.
Right. So what I'm saying is, but you learned
You know who
something
I'm talking
about,
about, right?
but you learned something about somebody's personality that day that you did not like or wanted in your wife,
But
right?
I didn't need to go on a date with her to figure that out. I just needed to see her in action.
But it was a healthy way to learn.
Yo, here's the thing. I went
But
out.
we was
And
on
we
a-
had
but we-
fun,
but
too.
we was on a
It was a
we was
group
on a group
situation.
though. It
Yo,
wasn't like one
you don't have to
on
go
one.
on
I
a
went
date.
out
You don't have to
on
go to
one
the-
date with my wife, right? We went out on one date. And after that one date, I was done dating everybody else because she was so special and that time with her was so captivating. It was cool,
That's how it
right?
was
And she
with
was
my wife.
open enough to have me go on that date, and that was her last time going on a date. That was my last time going on a date because I was open up. Now, before that, actually, maybe a few days before that, right? Maybe every other day that week before that, I had went on dates, right? But those weren't great. Those weren't amazing. You feel what I'm saying? They weren't cool. However, yeah, they were all right. Right, but when I went on a date with her, like it was like, yo, this is life changing. Her, who she is crazy to me. And so then I never dated anybody else after
But
that.
again,
but I was open
I
to
think
it.
it goes back to Ryan's. Some of this is personality.
Yeah.
She may not have minded. I do. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. I do mind. So for me, that wouldn't have worked for me.
But you
No,
all
she didn't know that I like that. You know what I mean? It wasn't like later on when I said, I went out, with somebody else earlier that week. She wasn't like cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she might
Also,
not like
she didn't
that.
even know that happened.
And here's the thing.
She doesn't have to know that
Here's
happened.
the thing.
She knows
People-
now.
Yeah, I mean, she knows now. I already
People
told her.
that are of earnest personality type, I want you to caution yourselves though, because if you find yourself fishing out of the same pond, if too many people find you fishing out of the same pond too long,
Bad reputation.
you will have a
Yeah.
bad rep, and you don't want your good to be spoken evil
And then
of.
the
You don't want
caution,
your good
the
intentions.
caution for somebody
Yeah.
like me is that it could be slight pride issue. That you do think you're that special that somebody needs to see you as
Yeah.
the one and only ever.
Yeah.
I think
There is
everybody should see
there's a
themselves that
slight,
way.
but there is
Yeah,
a
so
slight
who you
issue with
marry-
that.
yeah.
I don't want you to chime in.
Okay.
I don't need you with this one because I know you're gonna support what I'm saying. I don't need that. But what I'm saying is there is a danger to thinking that you're so special that somebody needs to see like an aura around
Yeah.
you and da 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 da. There is a danger, and there is a danger to being that tight.
Yeah.
So it's in
So
it's in the
both
middle
sides.
somewhere.
But I
depending
do
on where
want to
you
say this.
gravitate.
Like, I had so much pushback on me, like, for so long from so many people that I've got into a relationship and stayed in a relationship much longer than I should have. So I want to caution those who are maybe more, of a stickler or more, strong in their stance. Don't be discouraged because, that is amazing to be able to, stay strong if that's what God has called you to
Right.
do. Obviously, be humble in it, but don't push yourself to date someone and be in a abusive or bad situation just because people are telling you, you need to be more open.
Right. I'm talking to people who are naturally bent. I was naturally bent that way. There's caution for that. You guys were naturally bent the other way. There's caution for that. There's a area in between there that's where God probably wants you to be. If you're not naturally bent that way and you're trying to do this, then stay encouraged. It's going to be hard for you. But if you're naturally bent that way, if you're naturally bent to be closed off and to think you're this and that, there is caution for that.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't need encouragement to stay in that place because that's where you naturally are. All right, so it's going to be a long show. You in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tan, and DJ Jeremiah. Let's go.